Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Saimah and welcome to Saimah's Experience. In today's video, I'm going to go over the one Turo strategy that you probably aren't using and can benefit you in big ways for your Turo business. Now, I have to give a shout out to my Powerhost.club community member, Michael, who is a phenomenal Turo host, and he actually reminded me of what an amazing practice this is recently as we were discussing in our community. So big shout out to Michael and for reminding me that I myself also have to start doing this again, because you know what, I've gotten lazy and I've stopped really practicing this one strategy that is super helpful. Now, many of you guys recently have been messaging me and have been commenting about how it's been kind of slow lately, right? Which can oftentimes be very, very typical of the start of the year. So nothing to be super alarmed by. It is very typical given what's been going on at the start of this year and that it's just post holidays. Now, as we move into springtime, things will definitely begin to pick up. But when the season is slow, not for all markets, but many markets out there are some additional strategies that you can put into play that's going to help you hone in on your listings and exactly what you could offer that will attract renters because you're adding value to that listing. So it's extremely important, right? You want to cater to a specific experience. But the problem is, majority of the times, you don't really know who's renting your car, why they're renting it, or what they have planned, right? That's not really a part of the Turo system. So that can make it a bit difficult to really understand who your customer is and who that renter is and what they're doing. So if you don't know, how can you cater to them? How can you sort of curate your listing so that it provides the perfect experience for the customer base that you have? Now, I know for me personally, I get very much into a routine of, cars coming in, cars going out, rental in, rental out. And I have automated responses for my renters, and I just have a system that flows. So you oftentimes sort of don't really get a chance to maybe have a conversation with your guest about what they're up to and how you can better provide an experience to them. So this past weekend, I ran a little bit of an experiment. It was a big weekend here in Southern California. Along with Valentine's Day, we also hosted Super Bowl, which was amazing, right? Definitely drew an audience. Now, I'm based in Orange County, so I'm a little ways away from LA, but not too far away. And a lot of people in my community were asking me, are you going to up your prices because of Super Bowl? But I wasn't really sure if the audience that was renting for me was going to be the Super Bowl crowd, or was it just going to be people going out on date nights for Valentine's Day? Was I too far proximity-wise, or was I just close enough to attract that audience? Now, the only way you can really figure that out is if you have conversations with your guest. And that's something that, I've been slacking off on. So I did that this weekend to kind of gain a better idea of the type of people who are renting my cars and really what they're up to. And what I came to find out from just having simple conversations of, hey, how's it going? Please let me know if there's anything I can do to give you some tips about what to do in the area or to kind of make your trip better, right? When you approach it like that, oftentimes people will be very forthcoming about what they have planned during their trip. And for me, across the board for all my cars this past weekend, it was all Valentine's Day related rentals, right? So it was people who are going to the coast. Maybe they got a hotel for the weekend. Maybe they were going out to dinner. So I specifically didn't attract that Super Bowl crowd. So one of the things that I really, really want to emphasize in this video that can really make a huge difference is talking to your guests, having conversations with them about their plans and just asking, hey, can I offer you any recommendations, places to visit, points of interest, places to go on hikes, dinner, restaurants, things that you know about your local area. This is going to help you decipher what people are doing, and here's why it's so important. I always get people asking me about, how do you set up your listing? How do you know what kind of settings you should have for your Turo listing to attract the most amount of renters, right? To get those calendar days booked up. And then sometimes that can pose issues if you don't know exactly how to set it. So for example, sometimes people think that if you open up unlimited miles, you are for sure going to get rentals, right? Which can very well be the case. You can get rentals, but then there is a downside to that, which is that you end up accumulating a lot of miles on your car. The car ends up depreciating, it gets more wear and tear, requires more maintenance, and then you have to figure out how do you offset that. Well, the thing is, if you know what your renters are up to, what your core customer needs, you may not need to offer unlimited miles. So for me, I've begun tracking it, and I use the recommendation that I got from my friend Michael, and I keep a simple spreadsheet, right? Date of the rental, which car it was, the day rate that they paid. This is all taken from my good friend Michael, and I think he did a great job on his spreadsheet. And then their reason for coming into town or for renting this car. And what I have found out is on average, people are typically driving my cars around maybe, 60 to 90 miles per day. They're typically going to our coastal beach cities. They usually get a hotel. They're going out to dinner. So I know I don't have to offer unlimited miles because my core customer base doesn't require a lot of miles for their trip because they are just indulging in a lot of local activities. So doing that really helps you refine who your audience base is, and you also get a better understanding for what their buying power is. Because I know that a lot of people who rent my cars go to high-end beach city resorts, they're going to the nicer restaurants, I know that I can probably get maybe a higher day rate on my cars. So all this information basically helps you distill down to who your core customer is and how you can then cater your listing to them and give a better value offering. Now, one of the best things you can do is once you get this information by having that conversation with your guests is think about how can you utilize the trip extra functionality on your Turo listings and add some extras on there. Now, the beauty of these trip extras is as a host, regardless of what host protection plan you're on, you get that 90% take rate on that. So whatever your trip extras is, you get to take home 90% of that revenue, which is a great way to make money through ancillaries, right? So you want to have that as a part of your listing. Now, if you're in the beach, near the beach cities, and you know that that's where your guests are going, can you offer things like beach chairs or coolers, or maybe you have access to surfboards because you're doing a larger car that would fit that. So you can really start curating the experience that your guests are having while increasing your revenue potential and decreasing any unnecessary wear and tear that your cars might not need to take, right? So you want to attract the right type of customer, the right type of renter that really meets the vehicle that you're providing and the experience that you're providing. So I just wanted to share this strategy with you guys. It's one that has worked extremely well for me in the past, and I'm so glad that my Turo host friend reminded me of this because it kind of brought me back into the loop of things, really understanding who my customer is and how I can better serve them and provide a better host experience. So get talking with your guests. Find out what they're up to, just simply have a conversation with them and ask them, how can you help them out during their trip? Are there any recommendations that you can give them? And especially when markets are slow, this is an amazing way to gain an edge over other listings that are in your area, to add more value into your listing and that experience that you provide to your renters. So that is how you begin to really set yourself apart and make this business about what it should be, which is the experience that you provide. And I guarantee you, the better experience that you provide as a host to your guests, the better experience you're going to have as a host as well. You will have a better hosting experience, and you will attract the right type of renters to your vehicle by curating your listing in that way. So this is the one strategy that I would highly recommend in both slow seasons and peak seasons, because it's going to give you that perfect hosting experience on Turo, which will then motivate you to grow your fleets and hopefully create a strong, stable business throughout the year. Now, if you want to learn more about Turo, you can definitely visit my site at powerhost.club. I do have an entire host really condensing my 7 years of doing this, hosting thousands of trips and giving you the full A to Z walkthrough on how to set up your business and provide that such important experience that your guest need. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys again in a couple of days. Once again, my name is Saimah and this is Saimah's Experience. And if you can comment below, let me know, how has your market been doing lately? Is business starting to pick up? We are coming right around that spring season here soon, and things should really start picking up as we head into spring and summer. Take care, guys.